Okay, now we're ready to color. Let's start with the top one, and please don't work ahead, I want you to work with me. Go ahead and color in your first one yellow. Yellow is a warm color. Any mouths off. Yellow is a warm color. It's also a very high key color. So when you're mixing it with other colors, it tends to be dominated pretty easily. So when you're mixing with your colored pencils, you need to use the side of your colored pencil and use light layers, because colored pencils have a wax in the color, and the wax is what holds them all together. So if you press really hard with a colored pencil, then you can't really blend together. Okay, the next one is yellow-orange. On all the secondary and intermediate colors, make sure that we don't see any primary colors in there. So the yellow-orange is 2 parts yellow, 1 part red. So I need everybody to super focus on the screen. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're going to lightly go over it with yellow, and then you're going to lightly go over it with the red, really light. And actually holding your pencil like this is going to help you, because then you're not going to press so much with the tip. You're going to have a much larger area of lead exposed, and then go back over it with your yellow. Now the last time you go back over it with your yellow, press pretty hard so that you really blend that in. You really want this to be lighter than your orange. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to do another little swatch right here. Do 1 part yellow, 1 part red, lightly, very lightly with that red, because it will easily dominate, and 1 more part yellow. Okay. Making sure that that yellow-orange is a higher key value than the orange. Okay, the next one is orange. So it's 1 part yellow and 1 part red. Again, yellow is the dominant color. Yellow is the higher key value. Red is the dominant color. So you want to start with your yellow lightly, and then go over 1 layer yellow, 1 layer red. 1 layer yellow, 1 layer red. Now, that's the full formula, but you need to go over it more than once. Repeat that formula as many times as you need to really blend those colors together. It also helps if you take your pencil in opposite directions. So this time I went horizontal and a little bit diagonal. Now I'm going to go vertical, start that formula over again with my yellow. You can also use some circular motions to try to blend that together. And then 1 more coat of the red. Now if you're not happy with the color, these two look similar to me, my orange and my yellow-orange. This one, it looks better to me, where I made that little swatch. So if you're not happy with it, make another little swatch nearby. Something else that you can get with your colored pencils, it's a blending pencil, and there's no color in it at all. It's just there to help push color around. Those are nice too. Okay, the next one, intermediate color, is red-orange. This time we do want that red to be more dominant than the yellow. So I'm going to start with my red. It's 2 parts red, 1 part yellow. Let's start with my red. And then my yellow. And I went diagonal this direction with my red. I'm going to go diagonal this direction to blend those colors a little bit better. Again, that's my full formula, but I'm going to go over it one more time. Red, yellow, and red again. Colored pencils don't erase really well. They're not great erasers. So it's better to start lighter and add to them. But colored pencils can be really, really incredible. You can make some really detailed, amazing colors with colored pencils. And Crayola crayons are what these are, Crayola colored pencils. But Prismacolor is a really expensive art colored pencil, and those are really, really nice. Okay, the next one is red. Can you make red? No, you cannot make red. You have to use your red colored pencil. Crayola has a pretty good red. Reds tend to be either red-orange or red-violet. This red, I think, is a pretty good red because we can make the orange and we can also make the violet with this red. Yep, I like that red a lot. That's a good red. Okay, the next one is red-violet. 2 parts red, 1 part blue. It's 2 parts red, that means it's going to be more dominant red. So I'm going to start with my red. Then I'm going to add 1 part blue. Now, be careful that you're really closely looking at your blue and your violet. I think that I'm a little bit colorblind. I think I sometimes see those 2 colors. I can't quite tell them apart. I have to really look close. So sometimes I actually have to just look and read the label. So it's 1 part red, 1 part blue. I think I got that blue a little intense there. Try to cover that up with my red. And then 1 part red again. I think the violet, blue violet, and red violet are the hardest ones to mix with colored pencils. And again, it's mostly because of this red. You have to have a really, really good red. And the next one is violet. It's 1 part blue, 1 part red. The blue and the red are pretty equal in intensity. I don't think that one's necessarily going to dominate the other. The most intense color on the color wheel is red. And you notice fire engines are red. Cars that are red tend statistically get more traffic tickets. And blue and gray, blue-gray, those cars typically get in, well, statistically they get in more car accidents because they blend into the background. So, alright, let's go and do our violet. It's 1 part blue and 1 part red. Keep it really light so you can blend those together. Okay, that's the whole formula. I'm going to go over the formula one more time. 1 part blue and 1 part red. Warm colors come forward, cool colors recede. If you want to be seen, you want to wear the left side of the color wheel. If you want to just blend in, you don't want anybody to really see you, wear the right hand side of the color wheel. Okay, our next color, intermediate, it is blue-violet. 2 parts blue, 1 part red. We want the blue to be more dominant now, so we're going to start with our blue. And then 1 part red. And go a different direction with that to blend it well. And then 1 part blue again. Blue-violet is my favorite color. I love blue-violet. Now when you get those 3 done, I want you to look at them and make sure that none of those look the same. Those should not look exactly the same. There should be a little bit of a difference. Make sure you can't see any blue or violet in them. I think on my red-violet here, I think I pressed a little hard. Now I'm having a hard time blending those 2 in. Okay, then we have blue. Can we make blue? No, we cannot make blue. If we do not have blue, we cannot have blue. If you don't have it, you cannot make it. Have to buy blue. Now, if you like to paint, I mentioned earlier, if you like to paint, you should get your 3 primary colors plus black and white. If you really like to paint, I would really suggest that not worrying about really expensive art supplies when you first start to paint. I would get boards, masonite. I used to paint on cardboard, the ceiling tiles, anything I could find, I'd paint on it. And then for a while my mom was buying me expensive art paints, but then we couldn't afford those anymore. So then I just went down to Walmart, just walked down to Walmart and picked up just like a little pint of each of my primary colors in black and white, and that worked just fine. Alright, next one, intermediate color, blue-green. Dominant in the blue, it's 2/3 blue, 1/3 yellow. So I'm going to go over it with blue first. Then I'm going to go over it with the yellow. And then the blue again. I want it to be more dominant in the blue. But I don't want it to look just like my blue. It needs to be blue-green. If you need to go over that formula a second time, you can. Blend those together. Blue-green used to be my favorite in high school, and then I started looking at some of my pictures when I was wearing blue-green, and it's not a good color on me. It's really quite ugly on me. Oh well. Such as high school ugly pictures. Alright, the next one is green. It's a secondary color. It is 1/2 yellow and 1/2 blue. So color in yellow first. Then go the opposite direction with your blue. And this yellow and blue I think make they're really easy to mix the green. It's a pretty easy one. Keep working. We got one more, keep working. Okay? And there's a last layer of blue on this one for my green. And then our very last one is yellow-green. Be really careful with the blue here. You want to really go light with that blue. So I'm going to start with my yellow. It's 2/3 yellow, 1/3 blue. I'm going to start with my yellow. Then I'm going to use my blue really lightly. The ones that people have the most trouble with are yellow-orange and yellow-green because they just get them too dark. And then I'm going to press hard with that last layer of yellow to make sure it's a nice yellow-green, lime green. Okay, go ahead and finish up this page. Make sure all your colored pencils are put back, and we're going to collect those. All right, good job, guys.